I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. Really lovely to have you with me. I really appreciate you setting aside some time and just coming along and seeing what fun make we are going to have today. I try and post a video every week, at least once a week, for you to craft along with something fairly simple but nearly always with a bit of a wow. So shall I show you today's wow? Okay, I've got 3 to show you. Which way round shall I show you? I'll show you the exciting one we're going to make. So here it is. Look at that. Ta-da! Okay, so this is called a Bendy card, Bendy window card. I first saw this on Mixed Up Crafts with Sam Calcott, and I've seen a few of the other demonstrations for Stampin' Up have done a version as well, and this is my version really. It's sized for the UK, so it will fit in a standard size envelope. It does fold flat, okay. I know it looks like it doesn't because it stands up so lovely, but it will fold down flat, and that will just depend on how much embellishments you put on and all sorts of things. But if you've got a really beautiful background paper that, like the ones Stampin' Up do, that's quite busy, you really don't need much of a decoration at all. In fact, you'd probably get away without any decoration. And then the back has just got one of these panels on, die cut pieces that will give you somewhere to write your personal sentiment, because there's no point giving it if nobody knows who it's come from. So that is the one we're going to be doing. I'll just show you a couple of other versions. I've done it in this paper as well, equally as lovely. Just I think the decoration there gets a bit lost because of the busyness, but you know, I still love it. And again, I've done the same there. Now my prototype version, the version I did first, was made with this paper. I do love it. I love the plainness of the paper. I was going to really jazz it up with loads of flowers on the front or some sort of embellishment, but in my excitement of being wowed by what I've made, I put it together and forgot to put the acetate on. So it doesn't matter. The person I'm going to end up sending it to will never know that I've forgotten. It's still a beautiful card. I'm still going to add some embellishments to the front. I might even add a layer of vellum, because I might get away with putting some vellum round rather than acetate, but equally as lovely. Now the paper that I've used, let's move these out of the way so we can get this chatty bit out of the way and get on with the making. So I have used stuff from the mini catalogue, which is finishing at the end of this month. I've used the Petal Park bundle, which involves, no it's not, it's Sentimental Park bundle, which involves this stamp set and the dies. Can you see that die there, the big long one? That's what I did for the flower there. And the daisies from the small daisy punch. But the paper, oh my goodness. The paper is this beautiful paper here that you earn as a host, or if you're a demo, you can just buy it. So sign up for a team somewhere, wherever you are in the world, sign up to Stampin' Up and you get a whole host of lovely things to get your hands on, and with discount. So this is the Flowers and More paper. I quite like it in the catalogue, but I love it in person. So I'm really sad that that's going as well. But if you go on to the Last Chance online, you can grab some before it disappears. So what do we need? I've done a lot of the prep already so that you don't have to spend a lot of time watching me. The great thing about YouTube is that you can pause it, go and do what you need to do, come back, cut your paper, double check the sizes, all sorts. So there is a few bits you need, but it's not too overwhelming. You need a base colour for your card. So if I bring this one back in while I'm talking, so my base card here is white. On this one I actually used Stampin' Up's thick basic white, just because I wanted a really strong base. But because you're putting 4 pieces together, it actually becomes quite strong anyway. The DSP, now I've used 2 different patterns. My background pattern is this one on here, and you can see you need 8 of those panels at that size, which I will talk you through. And then you need 2 panels here, the front and the back, in the really pattern, so something that coordinates but contrasts and really stands out. That's why I've gone for the heavily patterned paper there, because if I put the heavily patterned paper, the heavily patterned paper behind, it's just a waste, you won't see it. But equally I want something to coordinate, so whoever picks up my card is really like, oh wow, that's so beautiful, exactly as I would if somebody gave it to me. So that's those pieces of DSP. The mechanism sounds really technical, doesn't it? Shall I show you what it is? A piece of card like that, so don't worry about that. And then the acetate. Now a word about acetate. The acetate is going to go round and bend around. Nothing scary in that. I'm going to show you how to put it on really, really simply. But before you start cutting your acetate or playing, make sure that your workspace is clean. I only say that because I usually have sticky fingers or there's sticky stuff somewhere, and it gets on your acetate, and then you've stuck it all on the card and you look at it and you think that looks really grubby and horrible. And for this card you can't get your fingers inside very well to clean it. Now you can clean it with alcohol solution, that won't scratch it, so just get a bit of kitchen roll or a soft cloth and you can clean it off, but maybe do that just before you're about to stick it on, so anything that's on there, if there is anything, comes off before you stretch it over. I know it looks complicated, but believe me, you've got this, you really got this. Okay, at the end of this video you are going to be so pleased with what you've made. So, shall we get crafting? I will go through everything step by step, I promise. I feel like I've forgotten to tell you something. Oh, the circles for the middle. Now, I've been doing Stampin' Up for 8 years now, and I craft a lot longer than that. I've got loads of circle punches or dies or all sorts of things like, I haven't got it here, but whoops, sorry. I've got a punch from Stampin' Up, an old one that does this, which I really like to use because I don't know if you can see, it just stands out in the background. So the sizes, I will tell you the size of the circle that I've put across, but the rest of it, make your own. That's what I love about doing YouTube videos. I show you how to do the basics, and then you go off and make your own and just turn it into your own work of art. I love to see your makes, so if you want to send them to me and just share a picture, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, or you can just send me an email photo at creativetheottaway@gmail.com. So enough waffle, what do we need to do? So this will take an A4 sheet of card. Now that needs your A4 sheet to be an exact A4 sheet, and some of them ever so slightly, sometimes they're slightly smaller, and I mean slightly smaller by like 1/8 of an inch. So it's up to you how you do this, but what you do is get your A4 sheet and you cut it in half on the short end at 4 1/8. So you just cut it through the middle and you end up with 2 pieces, and then you turn it sideways, okay, and you cut those 2 long pieces at 5 7/8. Now I'm not cutting mine because I've already done it. I want to show you what I mean by fraction. So pretend this is my A4 sheet, okay, I have cut it down the middle and I've cut it across. Now when I put my sheets together, my card bases together, and I have a look, 2 of them are like a tiny fraction smaller, okay. Now I literally mean a tiny line smaller. You can either trim that off or leave it as it is. You will not notice because it's such a tiny amount. So I don't think I can even show you on here, but there's like a tiny overlap on one of the card sides, just slightly bigger, but it really is such a minute amount. You don't need to get your knickers in a twist about it. If you really want exact dead on sizes, just cut 4 pieces that are 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. Okay, so you need 4 pieces like that. Then when you've got your 4 pieces, you're going to bring back your trimmer and you're going to score them in half. So on the short end, so put the short end at the top, make sure it's really butted up against there, because then you know that you've got a straight edge. And you are going to do it at 2 1/16. Don't freak out. All I mean is get to the 2 inch and go 1 line past the 2 inch. So just that 1 line there, and that is 1/16. And you're going to score it. Okay, and you do it on all of those 4 pieces, like so. So you end up with 4 pieces that have got a score line in the middle. I'm just folding mine so you can see them. So 4 pieces like that. Okay, easy, right? So now we need to decide, this is difficult. Now you need to decide what paper you want as your back piece and which paper you want as your front. Now I've already decided so that you don't have to watch, basically because it takes me so long. Love the Stampin' Up paper, but equally I usually love both sides the same. So I want a really heavily patterned one for my front, so I've gone for this beautiful paper. Just going to check the other side. Yeah, not so in love with the greeny stripes, but I absolutely love this. And then I went through and decided what would match it that would stand out but not take over this paper. So I'm liking this stripe here. Okay, what's on the other side of that? Now that actually does go really nice as well. Oh, but no, I'm going to stick to this. So this is going to be my background. So this is the one that I need to cut out 8 panels. Okay. So because it's 12 by 12 paper, I'm going to cut a whole strip down and show you. So this one, this needs to be, let me get the sizes back for you. It needs to be 1 15/16. Okay, panic. No, just breathe. So all that means is 2 inches and then back 1 little line. So you can just about see the 2, because you are 1 line under and cut a strip off. Okay, that means that your strip is 1 15/16 wide. Now we need to turn this and do it at 5 3/4. That's an easy size to do. Okay, 5 3/4, and you can get 2 out of each strip with a tiny little bit left over that's not good for anything. So there's my 2. Now you need 8 of those, so cut off 4 strips and then cut them in half. Okay. Now if you're struggling with the 15/16, basically what these are is these go on here. So you have 2 on each piece of card. Okay, so if you want to trim it a little bit more, or you're not happy with the size that you've done, look at it now. This is your card to make your own. So if you'd like a bit more of a border round, do that now. Okay, so I'm going to stick all these on, and you do it to all 4. So I'll try and speed glue. It is a fairly new glue. Try not to look at the pattern I'm hiding. Okay. Oh, I knew if I said it was a fairly new glue, it wouldn't work. Come on, I can feel there's loads of glue on you. This is where arthritis is not good on your hands. Okay. Right, answers on the postcard. How do you get the glue out? Let's get another one. Right, that should have given you loads of time to cut your 8 panels, so you'll be up to speed with me. Okay, so there's one. I'm sure, you know when they say how to make a fortune, you need to find a need and then invent something that fills the gap in the market. Well, I think then there's a desperate need of how to get the bottom out of the Tombow glue. I've tried taking off the other end and using it the other end as well. That doesn't seem to work. So if you've got any good tips on that, pass it along, because there's a few of us out here that need that. So there's one. Ooh, let's see if we can do 2 at once. So it really helps when you're doing these panels that it's any way up paper, because otherwise you're going to have to work out which ones you want, which way round you want to cut it, because obviously the top is much narrower. So although this is stripy paper, you could have it either way. I've just made sure that I've cut it, all of them, the same way. Okay, that's 2. So my cards that I've made, I'm actually going to use them for wedding cards, because I think they're that little bit special, that they're just perfect to give as wedding cards. We've got a couple of weddings coming up and we haven't been to a wedding for ages. So it goes like that, doesn't it? There's loads of babies being born, then there's lots of weddings, and then I won't even mention the other. So yeah, it's nice to have some things to celebrate. Okay, that I really didn't want to put it that way round, but do you know what, that's okay, because it's going to have a panel. What I mean is I've put 2 dark stripes together. So this one I'm going to be a bit more careful how I do that. So 2 of these panels will be seen-ish because they're on the side, and 2 won't really be seen because they're the front and back. Your eye will be drawn to all of the decoration that you do on the front. So make sure I don't get this one. So do I want it that way round? Yeah. So has anyone had a chance to look at the last chance offers from Stampin' Up? Oh my goodness me. I really tried hard to resist as a demonstrator that's trying to get this business off the ground. I need to not be buying retirement stuff, but I love to craft. So for me, it's not just business. I love to make things for people, and you know, like when you see a set and you think that would be good for so many uses, and then that's it, I'm hooked, especially when it's a bargain price and I get discount. Right, 4 panels, so we've got those. Let's move on to the next bit. So the front piece, the bits that are going to be on the front here, okay, is this really wild paper, and you need to cut that at 5 3/8 by 4 3/8. So again, I've done mine, so it ends up shaped like that, which at first you think that's not the right size, but you want it to be slightly smaller. So you need 2 of those, and then what you do with those, you make sure that if it's a directional paper that needs to be a certain way round, make sure that your 4 3/8 is at the top and your 5 3/8 is down the side. And then what you're going to do, you're going to score it on either side at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to turn mine over and score it so that it bends the right way, which I will explain in a moment. So that is there. That's there, and I've already done my other one. So I did it that way so that when I fold it back, the fold was the right way round. So you end up with 2 pieces that are like that. Okay, Now one of them, you need to die cut your circle for the front. So you see this circle here, or you could do a square or even a heart. That would look really nice on a wedding card, a heart. So yeah, die cut that out. So my circle that I die cut out, I used the layering stitched dies. And the reason I use that, although I don't think you'll be able to see, is so it leaves a line of stitching round. I really love stitched dies just because of the added detail. I think it just gives your cards a bit of a wow. So you end up with two pieces like that. So what we're going to do is bring two of these back in. Okay, let's do this one first because then it will hide my mistake with the two dark lines. Now you're going to stick this to there, okay, just like that. But what we're going to do first is shape it. So you're going to get your bone folder and you're just going to run it along the bottom, okay, on both ends, just like that, and like that. So that your paper knows that you want it to bend, okay? But you still stick it down flat. Make sure you got it the right way up. Just notice that, thank goodness. Now you could do both sides at once, but what I found is it's better if you do one side. So I'm just going to put some glue on this panel. Okay. Not too much because I don't want it to spurt out everywhere, so I'm using the end of the glue to also spread it out. Bring that back in, and Tombow gives me a bit of wiggle room, so I sort of slide it into place, and when I'm happy, press down. Okay, so this bit's still left, so I'm going to open it out, put some glue on this side. Either the glue's really stiff or my hands are really bad today because it's not coming out. Right, I'm just spreading that glue with my finger, which is a really bad thing to do because you end up with sticky fingers, but there's just too much glue on it. So I'm going to bring that back over and just tuck that behind again. Okay, now because I'd already bent my back piece, can you see what happens? So that is going to stand up like that. Okay, so we're going to fold that flat. You're going to bring these over, two of them. You're going to put one this side, like so, and one this side, like so. So you're just going to put glue on one side. Let's move that out the way. Like that. So I'm just lining it up to the edge, just making sure that that's in place. Oh, sorry, not the camera, just standing it up to make sure that it stands flat. And when I'm happy with this one, I'm going to put this side on. So you just put glue on one side again. And that is going to come there. I'm just going to match it up, press it down, and then just stand it up briefly to make sure that it's in line. And you've got that shape now, okay? So you've got your two pieces either side that have got no decoration, and you've got your back piece, okay? Now we're going to concentrate on the front now, so I'm going to put that over to that side. Bring this one back in, and I've got this one. So how we did the other piece, we're going to do it exactly the same. So we're going to shape this, okay, just shape it round. I'm going to glue it exactly the same, concentrate on one side. Okay, put that over. About there, I think. Good old wiggle room on Tombow, and do the same on this side. Okay, so that's that side, and I'll just check Can you see how much depth is in there? Okay, lovely. Now you need to put your little mechanism, you know, that tricky bit that sounds really technical. So this is a piece of card that is 2 3/4 by 3/4. So 2 3/4 along by 3/4, and you just score on the 2 3/4 side at 1/2 inch either side, and that is going to be your fold. So I just use my bone folder on there again. I'm going to do it both sides. Bend it back round, and the 2 little tabs, I'm just going to put some glue. Okay, just like that. And I put them in and aim to get it in the middle. You could measure, but I don't think you need to. This is stress-free crafting. Okay, so you just hold it down flat. Where you've used your bone folder on it, when it's stuck, it automatically wants to pop up, like so. Okay, so that's my mechanism. Then I've got all my layers that I'm going to do. Okay, so I've already pre-cut these. I've got quite a lot of layers because I really want to stand out in the back. I've also used some of the DSP to do a layer because I really want it to stand out. So that is going to go on there. And mine actually fills the hole, whereas you might not want yours to fill the hole quite so much. You might want it to really show off that it's got some depth on it. I'm just sticking some dimensionals on because I'm trying to be super quick, so you don't have to watch forever. That's just going to go on there, just like that. And then, oh, let's stamp on here. So on my other one I put just for you, so I'm going to do the same, and I am using crushed curry. So let's see if we can do that. Just because the fresh freesia didn't stand out enough for me. Okay, let's have a look. You, and just for. So that's that. That's going to go on there, like so. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on that one again, but only 2 this time because it's got no weight on it whatsoever. So that's coming around there, like so. Bring that back to there. Now when I stick this on, the only place I'm putting glue is just on that centre line. You could use a glue dot if you prefer. I get in a mess with glue dots, so mine is going on. I've just put a line of glue down the middle, and that is going like so. Okay, and I'll just give it a moment or two to glue rather than messing about with it. And while that's gluing, I'm going to get my acetate in. So my acetate, oh no, I've got to do the decoration. Let's do that first, because I do want a little bit of decoration. So from the Sentimental Park dies, I've got one of these die cut. I've got a daisy that's die cut, and I've got a tiny little circle that's die cut as well to make my daisy. So I'm going to put this on first, and I'm just going to curve it round that frame there. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on one side, just on the leaves. Now the leaves have got bits that die cut out of them, but I'm trying to get them to glue without taking them out. So it's going to go like that, and like that. Okay, it's probably a bit higher than I wanted, but that's fine. The daisy is just going to go on like so, there. Okay, and I can mess about with that a bit, but I want it fairly flat because my acetate is going over the top. But this middle bit, what is that called? Oh, is it a stamen? That is going to have a dimensional on it, and I've just shaped that with my embossing tool to make sure that it folds flat, that folds out. So can you see it's slightly 3D, but not too much, okay? So now that's going to stand. Yeah, lovely. Happy with that? Acetate. Okay, I put glue on my fingers, didn't I? Okay, let me rub it off with my other hand. So that's going to come over. So your acetate, oh, I can already see it's got stuff on it, is 5 3/16 along the top. 5 3/16. Now remember 3/16. When I first cut it at a craft retreat with my ladies, I did it at 3/8 and couldn't figure out how it was not fitting. So 3/16. That just means past the 5, 3 little lines. So past 5 inches, 3 little lines. So 5 3/16, and then down the side is 5 7/8. So when you've done that, okay, make sure that you've got the 5 3/16 at the top, and you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Now the acetate can be cut by the paper, by your Stampin' Up! Trimmer. It's just quite tough to do it, so you've really got to convince it that it needs to be cut. And the scoring, the same with the scoring, really press down on it and go back and forth a few times. Okay, then while it's flat, I'm actually going to just wipe that off with my sleeve because now my acetate is grubby. It picks up everything. Double-sided tape. So the two sides, look at that. See, don't do as I do. The two sides that are scored at 1/2 inch, put a strip of double-sided tape along it. Now I've got tape that almost exactly fits. So that is going there, like that on one side. And I'm going to turn it round and put it on the other side, like so. And try not to get sticky and gluey. Okay, then don't peel it off, fold it over. So while you've got it on there and it's stuck down, fold it over. You can do it with your bone folder and really press down. Okay, and then do the other side and really press down. Okay, and then what you're going to do is peel off the double-sided, so you're left with a sticky piece. Okay, like so. Now I'm just going to fold my ends in so it's not sticking up, like this one. I'm going to do that on this side as well. Peel it all off because you've got some control. That one goes there, that one goes there. Open it out ever so slightly and then bring your piece in. Okay, so what you're doing is you're aiming for this edge to be right in the corner there, okay, on the fold, and then you bring it over, okay, and you just press it down. So just make sure that that side's all pressed down. Don't worry if you've got a bit of gooey, yucky stuff there, because it's going to be hidden in a minute. And do the same with this side. Okay, let's bring it over, press it down like so, like that, and that is all hidden. Okay, then bring this piece over, and now you're going to put glue on all of this, or double-sided if you prefer double-sided. Just put loads of glue on it, and you're going to stick it on. Whoa, it's coming out of my hand. Okay. So lay it down flat, and then those sides come up to meet. And just press down where you can, which is most of it actually. Now, as you can see, I've got glue on there, but I can clean that off because it's on the outside. And that is your Bendy window card. Just need to put the message piece on the back. So I've cut one of those shapes, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this. I'm going to put a piece down the middle, or some glue down the middle I should say, not a piece. Just where I think the middle is, just in a line. And find where the middle is to my eye and just press down in the middle. And then as soon as that's dry, you can manipulate it and it will stand up like that. There you go. Oh, and breathe. Ta-da! Okay, let's turn it over and have a look. Beautiful. What do you think? So let's bring these ones back in. Oh wow, I don't know which one I like best. That one just needs a little bit of cleaning off, but absolutely beautiful. A lovely bendy window card, perfect for gifting. Wow, thank you for watching. I hope you've loved this tutorial as much as I've loved doing it for you. If you're in the UK and you're looking for some paper craft supplies that are second to none, then get in touch or shop with me online at creativetheottaway.co.uk, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.